What's the definition of hearing loss?
So I'll focus mostly on the type that develops over time, that might sort of creep up on people and you're not really noticing it at first. But my definition of hearing loss is if you notice that you're having difficulty hearing in some daily listening situations that maybe you hadn't before. So, a little more trouble in background noise, or you can hear people, but you can't quite understand them. That might be indications that you have some hearing loss compared to if you had normal hearing before.
What are seasonal allergies?
Probably first and foremost is the nose symptoms or nasal symptoms like runny nose, drainage, stuffing, congestion, things kind of running down the back of their throat, as well as kind of ocular symptoms like eye itching, eye watering, redness, maybe even swelling. These typically occur in the springtime or in the fall. A lot of people kind of say change of seasons, for example. And unfortunately, here in the Midwest, it's right when the weather is about to turn nice and we're all ready to open up our windows and things are pollinating or blooming, and that's when they notice these symptoms.
In your words, how do you define cardiovascular health?
Cardiovascular health is most simply defined as the health that relates to the heart as well as all the blood vessels in the body. It encompasses things like high blood pressure, which can also be called hypertension, things like heart attacks, strokes, heart failure, heart rhythm problems, heart valve problems, and of course, my own area of interest, preeclampsia, which is a disease that only occurs in pregnant women.
Tell us what Parkinson's disease is and what some of the symptoms are.
Parkinson's disease was actually defined and named by this gentleman, James Parkinson, and I really love this definition. As the disease proceeds, the hand fails to answer with exactness the dictates of the will. And I think that's a nice summary of what the primary issue with Parkinson's is, which is that the individual wants to move but cannot engage the movement in a smooth and coordinated way.
How does bullying affect a child's overall health?
There are mental health impacts of bullying. And these children, both bullies and victims of bullying, are actually prone to have more psychiatric disorders than children that are not involved in bullying. And we know that depression and anxiety are actually the most common mental health concerns that are associated with bullying. Being involved in bullying can lead to suicidal thoughts and behaviors.
Can you explain what we mean when we say traumatic brain injury and concussion?
Traumatic brain injury is just as it's implied. Usually injuries that occur due to a direct blow to the head or some acceleration, deceleration forces that are transmitted to either the head or the body, direct or rotational, that we oftentimes see in the setting of sports, for instance. And traumatic brain injury really spans quite a spectrum, as we call it in our clinic, in our laboratory. Traumatic brain injury spans from concussion to coma.
Are there any things that people tend to attribute to breast cancer risk that don't have any correlation?
There's, like I said, there's lots of stuff out there and different things that get passed down through families, word of mouth, kind of urban legends, if you will. But wearing a bra certainly does not cause breast cancer. The things that we think, add to risk would be, really heavy alcohol consumption, smoking, being obese, things that we kind of know attribute to a lot of different diseases and a lot of different types of cancers. Of course, if you have a genetic predisposition, like a particular gene or something like that, that puts you at a much higher risk. But for average risk folks, it's really just those kind of lifestyle things.
You want to talk a little bit about this year's outbreak and how it's be spread?
Predominantly in men who have sex with men, not exclusively. There have been women who've been infected. There have been children who have been infected, but the largest number of individuals who've been infected are men who have sex with men, which made people seem to think erroneously that this is a sexually transmitted infection. I mean, monkeypox, anybody can get monkeypox, and it's just coming in contact with an infected source that is the risk factor. So again, back in 2003, it was in contact with these, infected animals. At this point in time, it's being spread person to person.
You tell us all, what is genetic counseling?
Genetic counseling, defined as the process of helping people understand and adapt to the medical, psychological, and familial implications of genetic contributions to disease. So this process is integrating, interpreting family and medical histories to assess the chance that a disease might occur or recur. It involves education about the inheritance, testing, management, prevention, resources, and research. And it's counseling to promote informed choices and adaptation to the risk or condition.
What is seasonal affective disorder?
So seasonal affective disorder is a medical condition wherein, at least for 2 consecutive years, people have episodes related to changes in mood, but also other things that meet criteria for what we call major depressive disorder. So in other words, it's episodes of major depressive disorder that only occur in certain seasons and not any other time for 2 consecutive years. And so major depressive disorders is a medical condition where you have any 5 out of 9 symptoms according to the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual.